Making a Difference, AV Pride's TV series on underage drinking. Hi, I'm Morgan Sumter, and I will be your host today. Today's topic is all about binge drinking. Here with me now to talk about that is Dr. Colin Dirks, and later on we'll have a panel with 3 AV Pride members themselves. We'll be right back after this break.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Mom, why are you drinking so much?
I'm the grown-up. I can do what I want.
No, I hate you!
Every year, over 900,000 children are abused by alcoholic parents. More than 10 million people ages 12 to 20 confessed to underage drinking in 2012. Annually, more than 1.3 million women are sexually taken advantage of while intoxicated. Drinking has consequences that affect more than just you. Next time, think about it.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
All right, we're back, and here with me now is Dr. Colin Dirks, who is a board-certified ER physician at Piedmont Fed. Today we're going to be discussing a couple of things about binge drinking, so I'm just going to go on ahead and say, how are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me, Morgan.
You're welcome. So do you have a specific definition of what binge drinking is? Like, what actually is it?
You bet. In 2004, the NIAA, the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, came out with an official definition for binge drinking. And they define it as a pattern of drinking that increases your blood alcohol concentration to or above the legal limit of 0.08 in a 2-hour period. Now, for the average adult male, that's 5 drinks in 2 hours. For the average adult female, 4 drinks in 2 hours. For adolescents or somebody of smaller stature, that can be as few as 2 or 3 drinks in that same time period.
So, what are some of the causes of binge drinking, and why do youth do it?
You know, alcohol consumption is just so prevalent in our society. It's such an acceptable social norm. Unfortunately, the adverse effects of alcohol are just felt all too commonly. 1/3 of individuals report having alcohol having caused a problem in their families. That's a huge number. If we look across the board, about 43% of adults binge, and that translates to our adolescents.
Right.
Underage drinking accounts for 11% of all alcohol sales in the States, and 90% of that alcohol is consumed in binge drinking. Adolescents, when they drink, tend to binge drink. Why do they do it? It's a great question. You know, I think we have to look at availability. Alcohol is available everywhere,
right.
Your gas station, the grocery store, social functions. We have to look at cost. Cheap beer now is as cheap as soda, and so that plays a role in it. You have to look at marketing. It's a $4 billion a year industry, alcohol marketing, and that is usually geared towards a youthful population engaging in youthful activities. You don't see beer commercials about middle-aged guys sitting on the couch drinking. It's always young people doing young, fun things. And then I think you have to look at things like peer pressure. You know, there's an awful lot of pressure, I think, to do so in high school. I think you have to look at the examples that our parents are setting for us. Oftentimes, adolescents will imitate the behaviors that they see. And so I think an awful lot of reasons for why kids are engaging in it.
Alrighty. And so what are some of the health concerns that may come along with binge drinking? How does it affect your body?
You know, alcohol is a drug.
Right.
It's a depressant. and it affects just about every organ system. First and foremost, it affects the brain. It affects the forebrain and impairs our judgment. It impairs our decision-making capacity. It affects our control of emotions, our ability to concentrate, our ability to deduce. It impairs our memory. And it even has far-reaching effects to the brain stem, which is in control of heart rate and blood pressure and consciousness itself. Again, just about every organ system is affected. It can affect the gastrointestinal system. Alcohol is actually toxic and an irritant to the wall of the stomach. It can affect an organ called the pancreas, can cause severe inflammation with even small amounts of use. It affects the reproductive system, cause erectile dysfunction. It affects the skin, causes a flushing. It affects your senses, your eyes, your vision is impaired, your hearing is impaired. So it's far-reaching.
So when you were talking about it, you said that it affects your stomach. Is that why a lot of people would vomit or fall unconscious if they drink too much and it goes to the brain? Or so?
To address the first part of the question, you bet. It's a gastric irritant. It really is irritating to the lining of the stomach and can cause some pretty significant nausea and what we call dyspepsia, upset stomach, and certainly nausea and vomiting can be a very large part of that. As far as losing consciousness or blacking out, again, not terribly uncommon in binge drinkers. 50% of binge drinkers report passing out.
Okay. And are there any alternatives that a youth can turn to instead of binge drinking?
You know, I think I think there are an awful lot of alternatives. I think it becomes important. Peer pressure is such a important part of adolescent life, and I think surrounding yourself with peers who are not engaging in such behavior becomes awfully important. But having alternative activities that provide interesting and engaging action, be it indoor activities, outdoor activities, activities with family. I think having those healthy alternatives becomes important.
Wow. So anything for the parents that they can do?
You know, I think just setting a good example is so important. You know, one of the reasons that teens binge is they're imitating behavior that is displayed to them by adults in their lives, and so having a good example or setting a good example, I think, becomes important. I think just parents being educated on how prevalent binge drinking is and just how dangerous it can be becomes important. And then just having an open dialogue with your kids or with your teens becomes important. Having contingency plans.
Right, and I'd like to thank you for all this wonderful information that you have shared with me and the audience, and we'll be right back after this break.
Did you know 19% of high school students in Georgia reported binge drinking? However, in Fayette County, 38% of high school students reported binge drinking, and that is double the statewide average. Think, don't drink.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Glass and steel flew everywhere. My whole body seemed to be turning inside out. I heard myself scream!
17% of binge drinkers are teenagers. Drinking kills dreams.
Suddenly, I was awakened. It was very quiet. A police officer was standing over me. My body was mangled. I was saturated in blood. Pieces of glass were sticking out all over.
Nearly 72% of students have consumed alcohol by the end of high school, and 37% by 8th grade. Drinking kills dreams.
Strange that I couldn't feel anything. Hey, don't pull that sheet over my head. I can't be dead. I'm only 17.
Young people who drink are more likely to be involved in self-destructive behaviors. Drinking kills dreams.
I'm waiting for you.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Wow, that was a great segment with Dr. Dirks. I'm here with the panel, Asia, Aaron, and Taylor, and basically we're just going to follow up and discuss some of the same things. So guys, what do you think binge drinking is? Like, what is your definition of binge drinking?
Binge drinking to me is basically drinking a lot of alcohol in like a short period of time, and yeah.
Well, you know, you hear of binge eating, and that's pretty much where you eat a whole lot and then make yourself throw up, and so you're drinking a whole lot of alcohol and you naturally throw up, so a whole lot of alcohol in a short amount of time.
I was just saying, like, you have a certain amount of drinks over a few hours, so like 3 to 4 drinks over 2 hours, I'm guessing.
Okay, and what do you think binge drinking might do to your body?
I think it might cause you to lose consciousness. I don't even know how to consciousness, and yeah, it makes you lose memory, or like deteriorates your brain if you do it for a long period of time. So yeah.
I know that alcohol is a toxin, and it pretty much poisons your blood, and your blood goes through your liver or something like that, and your liver's cleaning it out, so you get a whole lot of liver damage, and then also it goes to your brain and affects all your neurons and how fast your neurons are able to connect to each other and stuff. So I guess it really damages the body and stuff.
I personally feel as though my body couldn't handle it. Like, I don't think I could handle that much alcohol at a little bit of time, because if someone older than me couldn't, then I don't think that it would do anything good for me.
Especially since we're all still growing, that would affect our bodies as well. And why do you think some of our peers drink? Like, what do you think their main reasons are?
I think to fit in and to kind of go with the crowd and do what everyone else is doing. So.
Yeah. I do think peer pressure has a lot to do with it. I know at where my school is, a lot of kids like talk about having parties and where all the drinks are and how school. I've never actually been to any of them, and I've never actually wanted to go to any of them just because of that reason, where there's alcohol there. You know, a lot of dangerous and bad things can happen. Also, part of it is probably with the parents. I hate to rag on the parents and stuff, but like the parents need to get a little bit more control of their kids, and they need to know what they're doing to prevent things, bad things from binge drinking and drinking alcohol from happening.
I think that a lot of people drink just because, since they do feel as though a lot of people are doing it, they want to be able to like tell their experience with it and be able to say that, yes, I've done that also, even though a lot of the people that have said that they are doing it really aren't.
Right. And so I think a lot of that comes from stress and schoolwork too, wanting to fit in, like you said, peer pressure and all of that. So are there any alternatives that you guys would do that you wouldn't result in binge drinking, like any fun activities or things
Actually,
that you do?
I was watching a TV show. I was watching Guy Code, actually, and there was a segment of what a good night would be, and it was Mac Miller saying it. And he was saying how he went over to his friend's house, and they just had all these board games out, like they had Monopoly, Sorry, chess, and like all these other stuff. There was no alcohol there, and there's no drinking or anything. And he said he had a really good fun time. So like, you don't need alcohol to have fun. And for me, I should probably like grab a book, go to a movie, like go skating or something. Like, you don't need to have alcohol to have fun, you know.
I would personally just chill. Like, I like just having friends over, watching Lifetime, or just like doing calming things. Like, drinking isn't that good to where you just have to do it all the time.
I'd probably say like just hang out, I guess. You don't really have to resort to drinking, so I'm guessing you could watch movies, or yeah, you could just watch movies or do anything. Yeah.
So basically just having a fun, chill night. You can also do like community service work doing something good for yourself, make you feel good on the inside as well. So, like, is there anything else that you would want to say to your peers?
Like, instead of like resorting to alcohol, like you were saying before, just go out and get a job or something. Do something with yourself, so you're too busy to go to these parties or too busy to like stop and drink or something. I mean, like, you can still take out time for fun and time with friends, but like just go do something active.
I think if more people would spend more time doing stuff like outside with the community and doing stuff like with their friends, then there would be less free time to even like drink. Like, I think drinking comes from having way too much free time.
Right. Thank you guys so much. Right now we're going to Alec as he comes with us with the Did You Know facts.
Did you know binge drinking means 5 drinks for men or 4 drinks for women in a short period of time? Think, don't drink.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Glass and steel flew everywhere. My whole body seemed to be turning inside out. I heard myself scream.
17% of binge drinkers are teenagers. Drinking kills dreams.
Suddenly, I was awakened. It was very quiet. A police officer was standing over me. My body was mangled. I was saturated in blood. Pieces of glass were sticking out all over.
Nearly 72% of students have consumed alcohol by the end of high school, and 37% by 8th grade. Drinking kills dreams.
Strange that I couldn't feel anything. Hey, don't pull that sheet over my head. I can't be dead. I'm only 17.
Young people who drink are more likely to be involved in self-destructive behaviors. Drinking kills dreams.
I'm waiting for you.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Welcome back. Right now, we're going to watch a video about binge drinking, and right after, we'll have a panel discussion.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, 90% of underage drinkers are binge drinkers, with young adults chugging down more than 9 drinks at a time.
I think a lot of parents don't want to believe anything negative about their kids.
Rebecca Thomas had no clue the extent to which her daughter Erin was secretly binge drinking. One night she wound up at a party with older boys she didn't know that well.
So I thought, I'll just take a couple drinks, I'll relax, I'll get to know these people. But then that turned into, you know, I'll take another shot and I'll take another shot of this.
So how many drinks do you think you consumed that evening?
About 4 beers and I want to say 10 to 13 shots.
10 to 13 shots on top of that?
Yes.
How did you stay conscious?
I didn't.
Rebecca, as you're sitting here listening to this, 14 drinks?
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing the whole story, actually.
14 drinks can kill a person.
Yeah.
Erin then got into a car with her boyfriend, who was pulled over for DUI, and Erin was taken into custody for underage drinking. Her mother got a heart-stopping call.
The officer said, "Are you Rebecca Thomas, and is your daughter, you know, Erin Thomas?" And I just thought, oh my gosh, is she dead? I was just panicked.
And shocked. Often, binge drinkers aren't the campus misfits. They're just as likely good girls, under enormous pressure, just trying to fit in. Erin says she first began lying to her mother in 8th grade.
It was about me wanting to make a decision and knowing that I wasn't going to be able to do anything unless I did it behind her back.
You wanted control.
Yes.
Often, underage bingers secretly pre-game, pounding stomach-turning quantities of alcohol before the school dance or the big game, where alcohol is strictly banned.
Shotgunning 5 beers over a couple hours could be pretty common.
Little kids, they don't even like the taste of alcohol.
No,
They're just
it.
They're just chugging it.
Disgusting. And you're encouraging each other. You're sitting there going, "It's okay, just do it, just fast, just here," and telling each other tips on how to drink it faster so you don't taste it.
For girls, alcohol has the added danger of giving them courage to act out sexually and then providing an excuse for the risky behavior the morning after.
80% of teenage pregnancies happen when the girl is drunk. Does that surprise you, that stat?
No, that doesn't surprise me.
Why?
When the girls are drunk and the guy starts to push it to that limit, the alcohol gave you the liquid courage to start, but not to stop.
Looking back, Holly says perhaps the best prevention is helping a young girl beat back her escalating insecurities.
What do you say to the 14-year-old you?
I tell her that she's beautiful and she's capable of doing whatever she wants to do, and I don't think I knew that.
You don't need that alcohol.
Yeah,
Without...
I could be cool without it.
All right, here with me now I have Asia, Aaron, and Taylor. And so basically, after watching that video, what would you do if you were put in that situation?
I think honestly, I would have done what everyone else done, but then I would think about what exactly that would do to me and the outcomes that would come, and I would not do it.
Me, I just know who I am, and I know I'm not the kind of person to do something I'm not supposed to. I like to be in control of my actions. I need to know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to partake of alcohol because I know it's going to mess up my mind. And like my parents have a strong influence over me, and I know it's wrong for me, so I'm going to live up to their expectations.
For me, I would just try not to give in to peer pressure, because I know that people say, like, we all say that we're not going to do it, but peer pressure is one thing that causes people to drink, so that would be probably me in that situation.
And like, how could you prevent yourself from being put in that situation in the first place?
I think if you surround yourself with people that don't do that, and if your group of friends isn't the type to want to drink, then you won't ever even be put in that because your friends don't do it.
Right.
Well, me, it's mainly like my parents. They need to know exactly what I'm doing and who I'm with and like who I'm talking to and things like that. So like I can't lie to them because like I respect them too much to do that to them. So like my parents will know what I'm doing and where I am, and they're not going to let me get in that situation myself, and I wouldn't put my own self in that kind of situation.
For me, I would just like know myself and know like how I'd be able to act in that situation. So if I know that that situation is not going to be good, then I wouldn't just put myself in it.
And is there any advice that you would give to your peers?
I would say that if you are ever in that position, you should really think about it and think about everything that, like how you're harming yourself and how you could possibly be harming everyone else that you were with if you were to not be able to control your actions.
For me, I just say like think twice about what you're doing before you actually do it, because you know you never know what the outcome might be. Like one time you may be able to get through that situation without any problems, but the next time something bad could like really go wrong. So just like think twice about what you're doing.
For me, it would be know how to say no and be able to like stand your ground in that situation, because even though they're your friends, you should be able to stand up for yourself.
So basically, we should just surround ourselves with positive people who do positive things and make positive decisions and actions.
Yes.
That's cool. Alrighty, well thank you guys for joining me on the panel discussion today.
Did you know frequent binge drinking high school students are more likely to engage in a variety of high-risk behaviors, like driving after drinking, riding with drinking drivers, not wearing seatbelts, and having poor academic performance? Think, don't drink.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Mr. Alcohol, how do you feel about yesterday's convention?
Oh, it was great. Really successful.
Mr. Alcohol,
do you know there's a 14-year-old boy with permanent brain damage? You make it seem like everything would be better, but in the end you make it worse. So why should you continue voting for you?
What? That's crazy. I changed lives.
Did you know that there is now a teenager handicapped due to drunk driving?
Look, if there is a problem, it's the young people. I don't vote for myself, you know. Am I right or what?
Yeah, you are. Vote no for alcohol. We, the students of Lovejoy High School, disapprove of Mr. Alcohol's message.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Alrighty, thank you guys for joining me on the show and the panel today. And I'd also like to thank Dr. Colin Dirks for joining us and giving us his insight and knowledge as well. I now have a call to action for all of you guys in the audience and at home. For you teens, How will you influence your peers not to consume alcohol, let alone binge drink? And for you parents, how will you prevent your child from not drinking as well? For more information, please visit avpride.org.